But another thing I want to kind of mention is one of the biggest parts of doing this as a case manager is that you'll have to accept, and that nobody kind of really talks about, is the trauma, right? The trauma that that you, I don't know if I want to call it secondhand trauma, that you kind of you experience working in this population, right? You'll have some people that have super sad stories. They have a lot going on. Maybe mom's not involved, or the dad's not involved and doesn't want anything to do with them because of the disability or whatever the case is. They don't want to be, you come across that. You have some people that don't have any parents that are involved, or maybe one of the parents isn't involved, and it's pretty sad that they're not involved, because it's like, oh well. I had one person tell me, oh well, the child's father decided he didn't want to be involved in their life because they had a disability, right? Whether they were autism or whatever, they didn't want to be involved, which is pretty sad. So try not to internalize that, because you won't last long in this industry if you internalize it and you take it personal and it cuts you too deep. I mean, I think it should affect you, which kind of makes you good at doing what you do, because you care about people. But at the same time, you can't take it personal, because then it's going to make you be ineffective, because you're going to be walking around every day, all the time, with that essentially wearing that trauma that you didn't even experience yourself. And that's why I wanted to call it secondhand trauma. So, or for example, I have an individual that has a pretty, like I said, a pretty sad story, and you have to be careful, because sometimes the legal guardians or the parents, whoever is the decision maker for the person on your caseload that has like autism, whatever diagnosis, sometimes even though the parents or guardians aren't on our caseload, you got to deal with their trauma as well, right? You may have somebody, like I know I have somebody that's had a lot of trauma. Maybe they're dealing with domestic violence at home or whatever the case may be, and you might be that emotional. You might find yourself getting emotionally vomited on a lot, which is unfortunate and time consuming. Unfortunate because you have to listen to it, and in actuality, you can't do anything about it, because although it might be helpful to help or get involved, the legal guardian or the parent, they're not on your caseload at the end of the day. So your responsibility is not to them, it's to their child, or to the person on your caseload. So that's what we want to make sure we focus on, and don't lose sight of that, because it can be easy to want to get involved and to help, or to give them resources on how to deal with whatever the situation is. But you can find yourself going down a rabbit hole and spending a tremendous amount of time in an area that is not your responsibility. And so you have to be careful about that, no matter how, heart pulling the story is. You got to make sure that you keep your eyes on the prize. Keep your eyes on the prize, that we are only here to do a job. We're not psychiatrists. We're not therapists. We're not any of that stuff that you might see on TV, right? Our people on our caseload might see us as superheroes, but we're not superheroes in real life. Not like actual superheroes. So you have to be careful, because you don't want to offend anybody at the same time. So in situations like this, I'll listen sometimes, but I will quickly redirect, whoever the guardian or the parent to, that they should go see a professional, and I'm not the professional in that area that they need to be seeing. So I strongly encourage them to go see a professional. I don't know who it is that they want to go see. I don't know if it's a psychiatrist, a doctor, a lawyer. I don't know, but whatever the situation is, I strongly encourage them to reach out to professionals to help them in those areas, because the most valuable thing that you have as a case manager is your time. So you want to make sure you preserve as much of your time as you can, because it's not a lot of time, right? Like I mentioned, you have a lot of things that you need to be doing, or you have to do every month, right? You have visits, you have documentation, quarterly reports, you have housing placement, visiting day programs, checking on people, doing your referrals. It's, so many things you have to do. So you have to make sure you treat your time like a diamond, right? It's super valuable, and in this population, everybody wants it. So you got to make sure you are very selective and intentional about how you spend your time. So yeah, like I said, I'm on my way to the office. It's actually raining, but it's not that bad. But I always tell people, especially if you're going to get into this field, because a lot of people, not a lot of people, but I've seen some people that might think they're better than some. Some people will, because of the population that we're working in, or even like people that's not in this industry might look down or turn their nose up at people that's working as case managers in this field. But one thing you have to remember as a case manager is, or even case managers that sometimes think they're better, is you have to remember that you're not better than anybody that's on your caseload. And at the same time, you're one mistake or one accident away from being in these people's shoes, right? You get in an accident, boom, now you have a disability. Or something happens, God forbid, you get a disability. So now guess what? You're in the same place. And that's humbling, and that's the type of mindset you have to have when you're working in this population to keep you grounded, keep you rooted. Is, hey, like, I'm no better than anybody that I'm serving, because I'm one accident away from being in their shoes and having a case manager of my own or a social worker of my own. You are one accident away. And looking at it, when I was working with like the older population, I said, hey, like, you treat these people like it was your mom or your dad, because if it's not already, it will be someday. And so you want to make sure you treat these people with the utmost respect, and because treat people how you want to be treated. It's the golden rule. Treat people how you want to be treated, because I don't know about you, but I believe in the Bible, and it says you reap what you sow. So what you dish out, you're going to get back, and then some. So you want to make sure you're sowing the right seeds, so to speak, right? You want to make sure you're sowing the right seeds. So yeah, that's how you got to approach the job, man. You got to approach it like that. So and if you want to if you're interested in this industry or this field and getting involved or learning more about it or becoming a case manager, I would be happy to kind of talk to you more about that and give you resources on what you should be reading to prepare yourself again into this field. One of them is, yes, I have to plug it in, is my personal ebook that I that I made. I think it was last year, the year before that I wrote it. Took some time, but I think it'd be helpful for anybody that's interested in case management. I don't know, I might like plug it in somewhere for you to kind of get connected. And it's very helpful. It's very insightful, especially new case managers or people that are aspiring to become case managers. You seasoned case managers that are probably like, oh, I don't need that. Like, it's not helpful at all. Well, guess what? The book is not for you, right? It's for, I mean, it could help you, but it's not the author's intended purpose. Me, the author, the intended purpose is for aspiring case managers and new case managers, right? So I'll plug that in somewhere for you guys to get access to that. Yeah. So that is what is going on today. If you like this video, give it 2 thumbs up. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Make sure you turn on the notification bell so you never miss one of our weekly uploads. If you like this video, then you'll like our next video where we talk about why case management is necessary. If you want to see that video, click here. Thank you.